The shadow check stitch is one of my favorite reversible patterns because each side is so uniquely different from each other. On one side, as you can see, you have rows of very elongated slip stitches, while on the opposite side, you have a very textured pattern that's really made up of knit stitches. And here's how it's done. This pattern has a stitch multiple of 2 plus 1 and a row multiple of 6 plus 1. Now the first row is simply purl. So purl every stitch to the end of the row. The second row is also very simple. You start with a knit stitch, then you purl, and you knit, and repeat those 2 stitches to the end of the row. The third row begins with a purl. Then you slip the next stitch. Put the tip of your right needle into the next stitch on your left needle and slide it off. Then do a yarn over by passing the yarn over the top of your right needle across the stitch you've just slipped to the front and purl. So you slip 1, do a yarn over, and purl. And you repeat those 3 stitches to the end of the row. Slip from the left to the right without working the stitch. Pass the yarn over the top, crossing the stitch you just slipped to the front, and purl. The fourth row starts with a knit stitch. Then you bring the yarn to the front, and you take the tip of your right needle and insert it into the slip stitch from the row below, and then slide the slip stitch and the yarn over off the tip of your left needle. Now take the yarn to the back. Knit 1. Bring the yarn to the front. Use your right needle to find the slip stitch from the row below. Slide it and the yarn over off the tip of your left needle and take the yarn to the back. Now you repeat that sequence toward the end of the row. You knit, bring the yarn to the front, pick up the slip stitch from the row below, and slide it and the yarn over off your left needle and take the yarn to the back. Now take note as you're working the fourth row. When you're picking up the slip stitch with the right needle, I go to the back and I pick it up from the back. If you try to do so from the front, the yarn over is in the way. So pick it up in the back and let it slide off your left needle along with the yarn over. And knit. Pick up that slip stitch, drop the yarn over, and knit the last stitch in the row. The fifth row begins with a purl. And what you'll do is take the yarn to the back and slip the next stitch with the yarn in back. Bring it to the front and purl. Take the yarn to the back and slip. And repeat these 2 stitches, the slip and purl, to the end of the row, ending the row on a purl stitch. For the last row in your 6-row repeat, you'll start with a knit stitch. Then bring the yarn to the front and slip the next stitch. Take the yarn to the back and knit. Bring it to the front and slip. Then knit. So you'll repeat these 2 stitches to the end of the row. A slip with the yarn in front and a knit. So you'll end the row on a knit stitch. Now you'll continue with the 6-row repeat until you get to your desired length. And the last thing you'll do is do a finishing row. And that will be a row of purl. So purl each stitch to the end of the row. And that's how you work the reversible shadow check stitch pattern. I'm James Cox, and I can't stop knitting.